Hello and welcome to TXM TV. I'm Anthony Clyne, and today we are joined by Robert Chittenden, Peter Rewi in Auckland.
Hello everyone.
And David Jaksa in Melbourne.
Hello everybody.
And from the TXM team, we've also got Michael Hatch and Ashish Tullison. Hi Michael. You have to say hi Michael to come on the screen.
Hi people.
Say it again, Ash.
Hello.
Hi, Ash. So, and this is the fourth episode of TXM TV, and we're having a lot of fun, and we're learning a lot of things this week as we talk to our clients. We talk to them about what they're doing to work effectively at home, what they're doing to keep their businesses going, and also how to use this time, make the best use of this time. So they're doing a lot of good things, and we're learning from that, and we're adding value to it, and we're sharing that. So I'd like Peter, how's the dashboard coming along for working at home effectively?
Hey Anthony, how are you? Look, if this is your first time you've ever been here, over the last 3 episodes I've been talking about putting together a dashboard for people that are actually at home. And today I thought it might be a good idea to just have a look at where we are with it. The plan for the dashboard is to have it available for people if they want to get their teams together over a Zoom meeting, for example. But what we wanted to do was actually create a dashboard which would make it easy for people to measure, all right, things from a department level down to a team level that could then go up to the strategy level where a site owner could get together and bring his team together or her team together once a week to talk about where their business is. Your business is still moving. It's in the background, and it's really important that we actually have a think about what we can do to ensure we have our businesses at the forefront once our team, our families are all well looked after. So look, this is just the starting point. So if you have a look down the very bottom here, there's just a little kind of like display there. I'm not very good at MacBook, so I'm just getting used to it. But as we probably all understand, we've got a strategic element to our business, which is that top square. We have departmental, and then we go down into individual team dynamics. And it's important for us to actually understand what is it that we can be doing at home to keep our finger on the pulse of our business while we're at home. And so if you now look up, the way that we propose to put the dashboard together is we break it into key areas. In this example, there's teams, suppliers, site, delivery. Don't worry about the teams down the end. This is just a work in progress, yeah? And so at the team level, all right, the team leader can be having conversations by getting in touch with people at home, asking them questions, just inquiring about their health and their well-being. Then once a week, that would float up to a department level where that team leader may talk to their department leader once a week and just give them a bit of feedback as to what's happening in their team. And then the department leader, she can go into the site meeting, which would be once a week, and pass on that information as well. So, oops, sorry, that's a different slide. So when you have a look at this, well, this could be an example of team leader, for example. What are some of the questions a team leader wants to be asking in the area of health and return to work? And so if we have a look there, critical role risks. Yeah, what are some of the critical roles that we have in my team? And just at a glance, using our and-on method, you'll be able to see that there's one role there that we believe is a critical role. Absentee risks, for example, site safety, tone from team. And sorry, but if you were to scroll this up, there is a little and-on checklist that the team leader can use while they're having the conversation. And the conversation might be, are you looking forward to coming back to work? And it's important for the team leader to understand the tone of that individual, might give them hints as to whether or not there are things that need to be done, all right, by the leadership team to ensure that when it's time to start back, the team is happy to come to work because it's all been, all the problems have been rectified. So the reason why I brought this up, when we spoke about it before we came online, would this add value? If you are a TXM client, or if you're just a visitor and you think that this is something that might add value to you and your teams, get back in touch with us via TXM TV or send us an email, and that would be fantastic, because we'd like to know that this is something that would be able to be used effectively by people out there. As always, with what we do, we don't just turn around and show you something so that you'll be able to see all the reds appear. We also are going to be adding some options, right? And we're going to go through the process of saying, right, what are the right things to be doing now that we've actually had a bit of a roadblock? So that was a bit of a long-winded process, but I now need to find out how to stop sharing. Oh, no.
Okay, Peter, that was they look great, and it is a challenge. And we're at TXM, we're currently running our daily meeting by video, and we're still using the pens, and it's a little bit clunky because people have to. It takes away that opportunity to fill in the information beforehand, or if it does, it creates an extra work burden, and so we're not doing that. And so this would help us do that better.
Yeah, I think, just quickly, what we've done is we've put in hints, all right, and some suggestive narratives which would help people ask the right questions that all head in the right direction.
Yeah, and if you're doing a similar board in your workplace and you've got better headings and better questions, please email them in to txmtv@txm.com, and we'd like to learn and share. The next topic is about keeping your businesses going. And you might have seen in the media in the last 24 hours, aeroplanes being loaded up, passenger aeroplanes being loaded up with cargo. So there's the world has the supply chain is both turbocharged at the moment, and some are idle. It's a very polarizing effect on the supply chain, and what companies are doing is wondering, how are we going to get our products out of constrained locations? So Hong Kong has 100 million tonnes of backlog of air freight today, and the price coming out of Paris has tripled by the kilogram. And so if you want to get your stuff air freighted, your margins are going to take a big hit. And so business continuity is a big thing. And what clients are doing is they're moving resources from typical operational resources and administrative resources, and they're going and they're micromanaging suppliers under the guidance of their purchasing people. So rather than go and hire a whole lot of procurement specialists to do this, because they're available, they are repurposing they're getting their production team leader, their accounts, their salespeople to follow up suppliers, check that their volumes are up every day, check that their schedules are prioritising their work as best as they can. They're establishing rapport now, because that relationship will be invaluable in 6 to 12 weeks' time, when there's going to be a lot of competing demands for long-term suppliers, and to get your work prioritised is going to be a key outcome to keeping your business going. So that's a topic that we invite people to share with us. How are you micromanaging your suppliers? How are you expediting your stuff or your air freight in a world that's constrained? And what are the tips that you're learning from doing that? So email those in, again, txmtv@txm.com.
Can I just tap in for a second?
Yeah.
So we have another example of exactly that happened here in New Zealand yesterday. So the example was, we've given essential business thumbs up to supermarkets. There are smaller producers here in New Zealand that don't actually have a pathway into supermarkets. And the fear was that they'd end up having to turn around and dig up all of their crops and then take them and bury them in a hole. And so, as an example of what Anthony just spoke to, you need to be quite vocal in these times, particularly if you're talking with government in terms of restricted movement. You need to get your voice and use it, all right? As a result of that being raised, plans are now underway to ensure that those suppliers don't get hit hard.
Fantastic. And in these hard times, it's we do need to make the best use of this time. And Rob, what tips do you have for us today?
Yeah, thank you, Anthony. Yeah, one of the things that we've been reflecting on a lot is having the right mental attitude, because we need that to be good at this time so that we can leverage our time effectively. We're all sort of having to balance a lot more priorities on a daily basis, working from home, maybe ducking back to the office, running all these Zoom meetings. We're all finding that we're getting a little bit, maybe a bit stressed. So trying to find your right mental outlet or keeping yourself in the right mind frame to get through these times. It's a very challenging state. So trying to have the right mental attitude so that you can get time is something we all should be focusing on. The second point I'd like to cover is have a practical approach. The world is changing as fast. Every day is a different news story for us, but try and have that practical approach so that you can get on to the third thing, which is just focus on what you can manage. There's a lot outside our businesses going on, but try and look at what you can manage. And we've already talked about some of those in our past episodes of having a look at 5S or maybe doing some stock taking, coming up with a dashboard, doing our meetings on Zoom. There's plenty we can be doing at this time to keep ourselves focusing on what's important to our sites and running our own businesses first. So that's what I really wanted to cover, just having the right mental attitude, practical approach, and being focused on what you can do. So that will certainly help you out in these tough times. Thank you, Anthony.
Excellent, Rob. And so that's all for today's show. Thank you for watching. And remember, email in your tips. Join us live, 12:30 Melbourne and Sydney time, and next week at the East Coast time for Australia. And just zoom in at the numbers on our website. And it does change periodically, so you need to be fresh with that. And join us tomorrow. What we've got, we're going to look at remote Gemba leadership. So how we can look at the workplace in either a segregated or a remote site and interact with our people in a supportive way that helps them make the right decisions and keep the place going. So that'll be the theme for tomorrow. And remember to comment on our LinkedIn page, email us again at txmtv@txm.com. And thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye, everyone.